advisor, nuclear reactor operator. So super bright guy. Um, he been an instructor throughout his career. I saw you went to Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
For school. My son's a freshman there, so I was just out there last week.
Oh,
That's
nice.
that's a cool spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say they still a really nice campus out there. I like it.
And no one can beat their football team.
Ah.
We got to go to one of their games, which was a blast. So he was an instructor at DTE. We'll learn about that. I don't know what DTE is, but you'll tell us. And then most recently, he started a business called Veteran AI, which has served 25,000 veterans and helping them with their disability ratings and um, has about four people on his team and just doing amazing work for this community. So Dennis, thank you for jumping on and sharing your story today with our community.
Oh, absolutely. I was gonna say glad you guys reached out. Always happy to talk to the people getting out of the military because I know it's pretty stressful when you get out.
So tell everyone about your military experience. What was that like for you?
Oh yeah, yeah. So just like you were explaining, I was a Navy nuke. So I did 6 years. I was on the USS Toledo specifically. Um, those of you who don't know what a Navy nuke is, they're the people that operate the nuclear reactors on submarines and on aircraft carriers. I was smart enough, let's call it that, to volunteer myself for submarine duty. But with all that being said, like I honestly think it was one of the best experiences out there. Like looking back, it's always kind of easier to look back and say, hey, that wasn't that bad. Um, because at the end of the day, the training I got from there, the work ethic that was developed during that time, um, really, I think set me and my family up for success at this point. I pretty confidently can say that. But we did two deployments, missed a few Christmases here and there. Um, can't really say what I did on deployment because it wasn't super secret, but I do remember always seeing some articles being written about stuff we were looking at later on years down the road. So it was always kind of cool seeing that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I explained everything. I think I was kind of like going around everywhere, but it was a good time.
What was your transition like for you?
Oh yeah, honestly, glad you brought that up. I got out right when COVID hit. So COVID just started. Um, And obviously, there's a lot of stuff like, up in the air. I would say if there was a time to get out of the military, it was probably the most stressful time. Just because there were so many unknowns. You didn't know if there was going to be that job that you were going to get, um, whether or not you could get out, if the military was going to do some sort of like stop loss kind of functions. So I really didn't know what was going on. Luckily for me, my command actually let me stay home from our last like long underway. And I actually found my first job, which was that DTE job. That's just a power company. Um, and I got my first job as a engineering instructor. And the good news is, again, it was during COVID, and I was working for a utility company. When I was moving and trying to buy houses and things like that, it was probably the only thing that allowed me to go out and buy a house because all the lenders were like, "Oh yeah, the electricity needs to be on. Okay, yeah, you'll have a job tomorrow." Everybody else we're not sure about. So it was a very stressful time to get out. But I think if I have one word for everybody here is it's gonna be okay. Like even that ended up being just fine. So no matter what you guys are doing, I'm willing to bet most people here are just gonna be just fine during the transition. So
Good advice.
yeah.
What did you know you always wanted to go to school when you got out? You started school while you were in, right? I saw you in 2010.
So, I was like a lot of Navy nukes. If anybody is a Navy nuke, I feel like there's like a few versions of us. There's the high school kids that get right out and join, and they're just super smart. And then you also have I'd say the college dropouts, for one reason or another, and that was kind of in that category. So I kind of just I ran my honest stories. I ran out of money in college, joined the Navy, and I just recently finished up here. But yeah, that's kind of, was a long-term goal of mine to actually finish my degree at Ohio State because I was so close, but again, life got in the way basically for a few years.
Do you recommend college for folks?
Um, Honestly, the honest question is it depends. It really depends what you want to do. If you truly have like a unique skill set or you have a knack for business, I would absolutely say don't go to college. It's not worth it. If you want to be a trades, like if you want to go work as an electrician or a plumber, which I know a lot of people exiting the military do have some skills in that, I wouldn't go to college. But if you do want to become like an engineer or a lawyer, doctor type deals, you're gonna have to go there. But even my job at DTE, I was an engineering instructor, so I was teaching engineers um, how to basically maintain a nuclear power plant. And at that time, I did not have a degree at all. So I don't think it holds you back. I think it is worthwhile if you're going into a certain category or certain or jobs. But generally speaking, if you if you have a passion for something, just go try to do it. You know, if college isn't needed for it, just go try to do it and see what happens.
Tell everyone a little bit about DTE. What type of company, what type of work did they do, and who were you servicing? And
Oh yeah, so DT is the Southeast Michigan's power company. Basically, get your little mitt. I'm going to probably say it wrong. It's down here. I'm not a Michiganer by nature, but it's down here. Um, and basically, there I was again an engineering instructor for Fermi nuclear power plant. Which, by the way, if anybody's looking for a really good job to get into, the nuclear world is definitely where it's at. You will you will have a good job literally forever, and you're going to get paid very well to do it. So, again, message me on LinkedIn or something like that. I have a few contacts still, not a ton, but at the end of the day, it is a very good gig to get into. But there, yeah, I was basically training engineers from like reactor engineers to mechanical engineers and everything in between, more or less about how to maintain a nuclear power plant. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know a ton about, so we always had some engineers for those type of cases teach that specific stuff. But for other things I was a little bit more well versed on, felt more than comfortable getting up there and um, basically preaching to the choir on that one. So yeah.
talk a little bit about, you said working on the nuclear sector is a good career path. What are some of those jobs? What sort of backgrounds do you think people need to have? Are there opportunities for anyone to pivot into that career at this stage?
Yeah, so it definitely helps out if you have nuclear experience. Basically, if you have any amount of nuclear experience, whether that's dealing with like contamination, or I'm trying to think, there's some army jobs that may help you out, or even biological. Like if you're just used to dealing with something that if you were to touch it and then go touch something else, you don't want to do that, and you understand that kind of concept, you probably have a lot of the innate training already to go and do that job. Um, but again, nuclear experience from the military, definitely go in there. If you have any kind of um, electrical background, mechanical, just generally fixing things. If you can fix something, you can be in the nuclear field. I would say fix something and know how to listen to rules. If you can do those two things, I guess you could definitely do it. But um, for all the people getting out, if you worked on any kind of maintenance at all during your time, it's something to look into. You're not necessarily going to be the best candidate on paper for it, but they are hurting. A lot of nuclear plants are hurting for staff.
Hmm.
So it is definitely something you can maybe get your way into. And as soon as you get like 1 year under your belt, literally no matter what happens for the rest of your life, I don't want to guarantee, but you will likely have a six-figure job for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Guaranteed. So it's
What do you think
definitely
those jobs, sort of those entry level type ones, what do you think they would start at pay wise?
so it depends if you're union or not. The most of the trades that I'm kind of like talking about, um I forget what the hourly rate is, but by the time your year's up, you're probably around like 120
Wow.
mostly. There's like a few month, training period for a lot of those guys. So during that few months, you
Yeah.
might not make as much, but you're going to clear about 120. I mean, we had guys making 250 like pretty easily. I don't mind sharing. I made 130 as an instructor. So it's
Good for
pretty
you.
much, I didn't know too many people that didn't make less than six figures, is my point.
Wow.
So it's a good
You,
gig to get into.
but I don't know a lot about the nuclear industry, but are you limited to, obviously you're limited to where the facilities are in the country? How many nuclear plants are there?
You're testing my knowledge, honestly. There's enough. Let's put it
Every
that way.
state, does every state have one?
Most, not every state. Let's see how many. Um,
I
most,
grew up near one in New York.
let's see. So there's 54 currently. They're not in every state. Mostly west or east of the Mississippi. There's a few out in California, but I would stray away from California. Talk to a few
And
people out
yeah,
there. They
yeah,
don't pay as well as the cost to live out there
right,
demands.
right, right. And they're generally safe jobs for the most part.
Super safe.
Yeah,
We talk about like any other kind of industry where you are working with systems that literally could kill you, like if a pipe bursts in
yeah,
any kind of plant that could kill you. Nuclear is definitely the safest because again, there's a huge safety culture, and that's why I said if
right.
you can fix something, but listen to the rules. If you can do those two things, and when the rules say something wrong or not smart, you bring it up, like you will, that is the gold standard of what we're looking for
Yeah,
in the nuclear field. So
because the dangers could be so high if people don't don't listen.
yeah,
Uh, That's
there's
good.
definitely a risk.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. All right, awesome. Tell everyone about your venture, right? So what made you have this stable job. What made you say, "Hey, I'm gonna go start my own company"? That's a big move.
Oh yeah, it was a huge move, and somebody just asked in there. There's a for if you guys want to find jobs, I think it's nukeworker.com. Just Google nuke worker, and you should find it.
And they like
Um,
military candidates,
oh, they
I
the
love it.
entire nuclear industry is almost exclusively military.
Nice.
So you're getting what you're getting into. It's the same culture, just civilian. I
Yeah.
don't know if everybody wants that. So nuke security, yeah, definitely. I totally forgot about nuke security. That's another big one. If you were, if you have a little bit of security background or, infantry skills type stuff, definitely
Yeah,
another
yeah.
good one to be in.
Good. Thanks, guys, for sharing that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so more or less, I would say I didn't really enjoy what I was doing too terribly much in the sense I was kind of getting bored with doing it. Um, I decided to like take a year off and again, I highly recommend everybody, watching and listening. You definitely need to do some planning to do stuff like this because it's hard. It's very hard on your family. It's very hard financially to do. But I took a year off, went to school, basically used my GI Bill to kind of finish that stuff off. Um, and more or less me and my brothers were Marines, and we all were like, hey, let's go file for VA, see what happens, kind of thing. And we all put stuff in, and that's kind of where the light bulb started going off because I went to our Cleveland VSO here, and I pretty quickly figured out that wow, this is a pain. This is terrible. I feel like I'm a smart guy, and it seemed overwhelming, more or less. And what I did was I kind of made a very quick little, I like to call it like a PowerPoint application, very simple, and demoed it to a few of the service officers in Cleveland. And more or less, they were like, every time I push that button, I would have given you $5 because that is saving a tremendous amount of time and effort in generating what we were making at the time, which was just personal statements. Um, that's time when the light bulbs went off, made a whole, spent the next probably 6 months making an entire application to service, I would say, like the core functionality of what you need to submit a VA claim. And yeah, got with, if you guys know who the CivDiv is, I got with him I was a quote unquote nobody. Nobody was using our app, not a single user, nothing. And um, he was nice enough to have dinner with me, and everything after that is crazy. Because again, like I said at the very beginning, over 25,000 people have been using it, and I consider it a little bit of luck, but also, there was a lot of hard work to get to that, um, get to where we are right now, at least. So
Who
more or less, I
did
was
all
born.
the programming? Like, is everything tell walk them through the process, because some of the folks on the call want to have an interest in starting their own business, and talk about what that was like for you.
Yeah, no, that's honestly a good question. So if I'll talk about this from the lens of a tech startup, okay? If you want to start up any kind of business, there's you're gonna I would say you're most likely going to have to hire people sooner than if you had a tech startup. So what I did when I first started Veteran AI was I pretty much developed everything from the ground up, all the infrastructure, all the code, did all that. And it's very possible to do that for a lot of people. You do have to have, I don't care what anybody says about, AI can do this stuff for you. That's a little BS, basically. It can do a lot for you, but it can't, you have to have a very good understanding of what you're doing. Um, to basically develop an entire program from the ground up. Now, um, once that was made, the next most important thing that I think I learned from this was you need to start working on the business and not for the business. And that is probably the hardest stepping stone for most people that are starting up a company. Okay. Like, even if you're starting up like a landscaping company, something quote unquote simple, eventually you do not want to be the person going out and mowing the lawns, trimming the bushes, and all that other fun stuff. You have to go out and you have to hire other people who are better at that job than you are. And that's exactly what I had to go do like 2 months in. So, we went from nothing to, thousands of users overnight. And if you make something yourself, stuff's going to start breaking. That's exactly what happens. Little things broke. I was inundated with emails. Like I was working probably 18 hours a day trying to manage, update, answer emails. Um, and it's not sustainable to do that. So you have to invest in other people that are better at those tasks that you were doing than yourself. Um, and honestly, that was like that's the hardest thing to do if you're coming from a builder background. Um, but it's very important because I'll tell you what, the guys I've hired, they're all veterans. I'm very proud of that because I've seen a few other tech companies that are doing the same thing we're doing. And, I do my little LinkedIn snooping. We're the only ones that are actually hiring US based veterans to do this because it's difficult enough to code. It's almost impossible to develop something and not understand why it's a problem for people. So that's why we always hire veteran engineers because it turns out they know the VA claims process isn't the best thing in the world. So, um, and then after that, I mean, I can kind of go into like, I think another cool thing, if anybody here is ever interested in like raising venture capital and things like that, um, my bit of advice for anybody here that wants to, again, tech startup that wants to do something like that, um, know a few things. One being that if you want to go, do a fundraising with venture capital, the market size needs to be huge. You're talking, you need a company worth several $billion down the road. Um, Two, it is a 10-year commitment. You start taking money from investors, it is going to be a 10-year of your life commitment. And I would say you best be committed to doing that. So,
Did you guys raise money?
no,
No.
we are very fortunate. And this is kind of like my third thing. Everybody I've talked to, I've met a lot of really great, really smart people. Um, every one of them have said take it as far as you can by yourself.
Or yeah.
So take it as far as you can because the number one thing, again, if you're starting up a company, the way you get paid is by your equity ownership. It's not by your paycheck. It's nothing. That's nothing. It's by how much you have grown the business. So remember that if you guys ever want to talk about that offline or hit me up, let me know. It's a tough decision. Um, but what it does let you do is it lets you cheap time is the best way to describe it. You can take your 500,000 or a million or $5 million from these people, and you get to skip maybe a year or two of development because you can just have so much capital at
Yeah.
your disposal.
Definitely not an easy decision. The time when you need the
No.
money is the beginning, and that's when they have you. They have the leverage
Yeah.
on you. But when you don't need it, when you're really successful on your own, then they want to invest, and it's a little different. Um, the positions that you can take then. So that's good that you
Yeah.
got it off the ground without it. I know it's hard as can be,
Oh,
and
it's
yeah,
very hard and I mean, during that time, again, I want to be very clear with everybody. When again, when I said it's hard on you financially, it's hard on your relationships, it's hard on literally everything in your life because you are truly giving up. Just last night, I mean, I had to tell the wife, "Hey, do you want to come watch something on the couch with me?" I'm like, "Hey, I got to knock this out.
yeah,
This needs to be done. Sorry, I'll come up once I'm done." And this is at 8 o'clock at night. Um, but during that entire time, probably for the first year, I didn't take a single dollar in terms of
yeah.
salary because again, I was taking that and reinvesting
Into the biz, yeah.
into the people basically. So it's
But
tough.
are the people who work with you, are they all engineers or do you have other roles?
No, we also have a cybersecurity and like a part-time marketing person at this point.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, all the cybersecurity, the engineers,
Yep.
they're all veterans. The marketing guy, not so much, but we do what we can basically. Um,
That's
but yeah,
awesome.
all those people, we feel like at least my opinion, when I was making this, I wanted to make this a safe and secure application for people as priority number one, because a lot of
Because of all the
veterans,
data, the health data, you mean? Yeah.
yeah, we just wanted to make sure that, we were doing right by veterans. So again,
Yep.
we pretty much invested in infrastructure, cybersecurity, and things like that.
Yeah. What talk about some of your success stories of the vets you've helped?
Yeah, so I mean, just quite literally yesterday, I get, some of the nice, I would say like heartfelt messages from a lot of people. And I probably can find it in our Discord real quick, but he just got assigned TDIU, which basically means he's temporarily unemployable. And more or less that gets you a 100% rating while you're unemployable. And again, he used our application to do that. And what's really cool about this, that again, to my knowledge, nobody else doing it at least at our scale, um, is that was done for $25. He literally was a subscriber for $25 for 1 month. And we've done the math, we've broken it down. Even if you look at the free organizations, and again, not dissing them, I think they're doing a great job. But if you look at how much money they need to operate in terms of tax contributions, donations, and things like that, Veteran AI is the most efficient dollar for dollar at that point because again, we it doesn't cost us much more to 10x how many users are using the platform. So we're pretty proud of that. Again, that was just yesterday. A few days before that, somebody got a Nexus letter signed off by a doctor, and they mentioned that in our chat, which for context, if you go pay for a Nexus letter, it's going to be about $1,000. And again, we did that for $25. So,
So,
we're we're very confident we've saved the veteran community far more than we've ever cost them,
yeah.
basically.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome.
Um,
What's next for you? Where do you see the company going? Do you have other dreams of doing other stuff? I could tell you're a very creative and entrepreneurial guy.
so we have I'd say a long-term plan. I don't like giving it out quite yet because I haven't seen anybody try to think of it yet. So more or less, I guess this is another piece of advice for people that are trying to create a company. And again, I'm not necessarily referring to like landscaping type stuff. I'm talking like very novel, very new things that just don't exist. I don't care what anybody says, ideas are not cheap. Okay. A lot of people do come up with the same idea, but it is not easy to think of an idea that makes sense and then plan out the execution and all that other fun stuff. That is not easy. That is not something that everybody gets or has a gift for, basically. So when you guys are out there and you guys want to start something like this, just be careful who you share your ideas with. Okay. I've even had experiences on my end of people, I was very naive when I first started, more or less taking a similar idea and running with it. And nothing I can do about that. There's nothing wrong with it. But again, just know who you're talking to. You got to make sure that whoever you're talking to is on your side and not just using you for good ideas, basically. Because um, at the end of the day, if somebody has more money than you, they can go implement the said idea pretty quickly.
Yeah. What
So,
any final advice you have for these great men and women as they look to launch their careers?
um, you guys are, for most part, when you're getting out, you're young. I know the people that are retiring, maybe not as much. The big thing is if you don't have a lot of the responsibilities, like now I have a wife, I have a kid, things like this. If you are getting out and you have an opportunity in the sense that you don't have a lot of those responsibilities, whatever you were thinking of, I don't care what it is. Again, it could be that landscaping company, it could be some tech idea. Go try to do it, basically. Um, I can confidently say that me doing this has easily the amount that has increased our quality of life for my family is immeasurable just because we did this. It was not easy and it's still got a lot of work behind it, but it's totally worth it to try to go do that. Um, because eventually you're gonna have husband, wife, kids, and all that, and you're just not gonna be able to. It gets really hard to do that the longer you wait. Um,
Yeah.
so
Good
go try
advice.
and
Go
fail.
for it.
Who cares?
Exactly. I have the same attitude. You got to
Yeah.
go for it. You live once. That's awesome.
Yep.
Dennis, thank you so much, man. This was terrific. We
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on and sharing. It's so interesting to me to hear all these different point of views and people who do that go down different career paths. I've never met anyone who worked in nuclear, so super cool and congrats on all your success with Veteran AI and keep doing this good work for the community. We appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say again, appreciate having you guys or having me on. And if you guys need anything, I'll try to drop my LinkedIn in here, and you guys can give
Yeah,
me a
reach
follow,
out
hit
to
me up
him.
with anything. So,
Appreciate that. All
yeah,
right, take care, buddy.
cool.